Hello and welcome to the Even Me podcast. This is your host, Morph.
And your girl Kim.
All right, and today we are back. We had a delay with our special guest that was coming this week, so we have another topic. So today's topic is going to be, can trauma from your past bleed over into your current or to your future relationships? And go ahead, Kim, explain what do we mean by this?
Um, what we mean about it by this is like mental issues, your past trauma. People, I'm learning, and I keep saying learning as my journey going on and on. That we're people are made by their history. A person is developed from what their past history has taught them. So a lot of people don't think that they have issues coming from either a past relationship, you know, childhood trauma. They don't think that. They just think this is the way I am, and you deal with it. Or you don't, but that's not the way you are. Something calls you to act and be this way, and now that I'm talking to a lot of people that's going through their mental health issues, that they are starting to see that this is something that's causing a problem in my relationships with my significant other, in my relationship with friends, you know what I'm saying? Or in relationships or trying to get into a relationship, because a past relationship can make you or break you if you never recover from it.
Okay. So what do you think would be ways of getting over the mental trauma or the physical trauma in a past relationship so it doesn't hinder your new relationship?
The best way, and people used to say, to get over one, you have to get under one. Nah, that's the worst thing to ever do. Now, do you want to have somebody close to you because that other person has forsaken you or hurt you? Yes, you do. I mean, everybody does. They want that emotional, that physical touch or whatever. But I say in learning, you trying to get over somebody by getting under somebody, all that's gonna do is bring your past trauma and their past trauma together, and it's gonna clash. With which you could be a good relationship, a good mate for each other, but you haven't gotten over. You moved on, but you haven't recovered from that. And it can be things that go from simple somebody cheat, or to somebody trying to hurt you. We're seeing that a lot now. People trying to murder each other, their significant other, to get out of the relationship with them. So I think it's just first stepping back, knowing you don't have to tell anybody that if you don't want to, but knowing that you was hurt in this relationship and working on those things of you. Now, this book that one of my coworkers gave me by Joyce Myers is really good. The Battle of the Mind, and it's definitely. I just started reading it, and it definitely talks about how things can transpire from our past that leads bleed over into our future and make us the way we are. We don't want to be that way, but this is the way we are because it came. I seen some men seeing their mom get abused, or seeing their father be the hardcore man in the house. So that's what they thinking they have to be. Some women think, I'm not gonna let a man control me, so I don't submit to him because I've seen my mama submit. It's just stuff like that. But we need to check ourselves mentally, emotionally, and to correct some things about us.
Okay. So I mean, I was listening to what you're saying, and you mentioned like physical abuse, and I think sometimes, I mean, I know we talked in the past about going to therapy and things like that, and couples therapy, or therapy just to get over previous issues that you had in a relationship, maybe mental abuse like you're saying. But I think sometimes it's good for the actual person to step back and kind of see, um I guess, see clearly what happened in the past. So like that, like you're doing, you're looking for that Mr. Right, but you're making sure that that Mr. Right is the one that is not gonna hurt you, not gonna talk about you, not gonna beat you, not gonna, you know, checking those boxes at the same time that you're checking the other boxes, the tall, dark, and handsome, or no broken ducks. Because, like we spoke about last week, there's everyone has some type of trauma, whether
Mhm.
it be, something they seen in the past, something they live, throughout their childhood, or, and it all comes down to how you're willing to handle it, how you're willing to move forward. Because if you came from an abusive family, an abusive father, abusive mother, and you turn into be that same abusive mother, abusive father, you're just basically just continuing the pattern. You're not fixing what happened in the past. So, like, I can tell you, in the past, my mom and dad, their relationship was pretty rocky, and my mom just said, "Look, the hell with it." We moved, we came to Houston, and we've been here ever since. And I mean, me seeing what my mom went through, because my dad used to drink a lot at that time. I always said in my mind, if I drink, I'm gonna drink, but I'm not gonna drink to get drunk
Mhm.
and then come home, slurring my words, and cause a commotion or anything like that. And then also, abusive. He could be abusive from time to time, but he would never like lay a hand on my mom. And the one time he kind of got loud, she basically hemmed him up until the cops got there. But
Mhm.
I always said, if push comes to shove, I would make sure that either my wife or significant other wasn't abusive to the kids, or each other. So like that, you know, I could move forward from that and not continue the I guess the family legacy of abuse, just get out of it. But, you know, on the other hand, there's people that can't get past that. That's how some of these, rapists become rapists, because either they were raped, or they seen something, or they were abused, or something like that. It something always leads to something to, you know h- you know hurt their mental, their mental. And I don't know how to explain it, but their how they turn out pretty much.
Yeah, it's like the thing of it is people don't understand, and you wonder why you keep going in this circle, because you haven't really figured you out. You don't know why you act the way you act, what you do, why you do the things you do. But when you sit back and think back, I don't like this way about myself. So the one thing that I had a problem with, saying I'm sorry. Saying I'm sorry, because I feel like if you say you're sorry, you're supposed to commit to making that change. Saying you sorry means I do see the error of my ways. I don't want to do that again, and I move on, right? But people say they're sorry just to say it, and some people seen that in their history. Like, oh, my dad used to come back and say he's sorry after he did what he did. It should be okay. But you saying you sorry and continuously do the same thing. I'm the person that has the hardest time saying I'm sorry. And if I do say tell somebody I'm sorry, that means I'm genuine about I'm not gonna do this again. But if I don't want to say I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm gonna cuss you out tomorrow. I may cuss you out right here, and then if I apologize and it happened tomorrow, that's not being genuine. So a lot of people see that type of stuff, or getting drunk and don't remember what happened or what I said. I don't like that at all, and that's one of my past, traumas. Uh, you know, from my childhood. People getting drunk and being so drunk they don't remember the next day what they did or said. You know what I'm saying? It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten drunk to that point to where I don't remember anything. So I feel it's real hard to do that unless you're like stupid drunk. It's got to be a lot, or either that, or you're a lightweight. I mean, I can't remember, getting that drunk. Even though sometimes, you get drunk to the point and you drive and you made it home, but your mind knows how to drive there, but you don't remember how you got home. I mean, that's a little different, but
Mhm.
um, I mean, I think, like I said before, I think everyone has some type of baggage, some type of trauma, some type of, something happened in everyone's life. There's no
Mhm.
way, unless you are in a bubble or something, or you came from money, you had some type of trauma. I mean, I don't think anyone I know didn't go through something, or was mischievous, or slept around, or it's always something. So I think with that, and bringing something like that into a relationship could harm the relationship, unless you are upfront with your significant other. Just let them know, and hopefully, they're trustworthy to the point where they don't use that situation against you, because that could happen as well.
Mhm. That's a lot of times that some things happen. Uh, you think that you can confide into that person. Hey, trying to let them know ahead of time. How can I say it? My ex says that when I do bite, I bite hard, but I warned before. I told you this out of confidence that this is the way I am. I don't like it, so I question you. Hey, what was your intent when you said or did what you did? I it bothers me. So if I'm singing like to him, begging, don't do it no more, crying to you, don't please don't do it. I don't like it. But then you get that person that just angry and go off because I done did everything asking you, begging and pleading. So then I get to asking other people questions. Am I tripping? Did this person not respect me? What did I do to cause them not to respect me? If I respect them, and so then after a while, if I care about you, I'm gonna bite you. And if I didn't care, it's like I don't give a care, just stop talking to you. But if I really care, I'm gonna bite you, tears gonna come out. I'm gonna apologize for biting you, but I did warn you. So it goes on from your past. It can be devastating to your future.
Yeah, I think bringing baggage. I mean, when I came into this relationship, I had some previous issues, and I made sure, in my mind, I had some boxes that I needed to check to make sure that I didn't bring it. Sometimes you bring up something just because you remember it from a previous relationship, and it's best to hold it back, because you don't want to bring up something, and that person, maybe they're semi jealous, and you bring up something that happened in the past, and it's just gonna blow up out of proportion. Like, you say, "Oh, we did this back in the day," or "I did this with this person," and they're gonna be like, "Well, shit, are you thinking about them? What the hell's going on? Why are you even, bringing that up?" But the mind is tricky. The mind, you know, things will just snap in your mind, and it just pops up. At least for me,
Mm-hmm.
you do something that you've done before, and you're like, "Shit, I've done this before." And then you
Mm-hmm.
mention it, and you try and bring it into the conversation to where it's not like hurtful to that person. You just, bring it to the conversation. But I mean, I think, like we said, I think baggage is going to be that way, unless it's like a new relationship, and that person has never dated and you're never dated.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of tough to come into a relationship, and nothing's ever happened before. So I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
see what you're saying, but I do understand that sometimes, the broken duck is still going to be a broken duck. He just may
Yeah.
have a twisted ankle instead of a broken wing.
Yeah, it's like, how can I say? I know my problem is my mind. That's why this book my coworker gave me, and it's good by George Myers. I'm gonna say it again: Battleship of the Mind, Battle of the Mind. That's some Battle of the Mind, but it breaks it down to how Satan uses our thoughts. You don't even be thinking it, but he'll congregate something in your head, and then all of a sudden you believing that it's true. And I am the I'm guilty of that. I do like, huh, so since they didn't clarify what they're trying to say or what they're doing, I just make up a whole new story into
Make
my own
or in
head.
your
But
own
this,
mind, yes.
yes, it's a whole, it's a ghetto story, but it's a story in there, and it came up with all kinds of characters and everything. But I'm working on it. I have to. This is where really prayer has to come into it, to work on my mind, because like they say, he seeks, and he, what he does to come to seek, kill, and destroy. He can destroy your mind, and it takes over. You be scared. Like after the death of my son, my mind was so bad I was scared to leave out of the house. That's how bad he trapped me. He did it that way. I was scared to go out the house. What would happen now I walk out the house? I didn't want my babies away from me, because what could happen to them too. It was just, I didn't want them to go to school. Then the shootings at the school. I mean, it was just, and instead of me just giving it to God and just praying, I was just afraid. And God don't, he don't believe in that, the fear. He knows flesh is flesh, but he wants you to trust him. But I couldn't. I was so caught up, and that's what the devil wants. So when you go into another relationship, you take all that with you. Even though you think you're not taking it with you, you're taking it with you. Eventually it's surfacing somewhere, waiting to come up. And so just, you know, you want to ask the question about the little week long.
Your week-long rendezvous? Yeah. So, speaking of mental health, um, tell us about your little relationship that you kinda triggered him.
This is like, wasn't even a full week. It's crazy. So somebody tried to talk to me, and I was like, okay, just talking. We had breakfast, went out to have breakfast together. I gave him a chance, because what he was talking about really just, wasn't, it didn't sound right. It sounded like some issues was there.
Mhm.
And I'm thankful that God given me discernment to pick it up early. I was like, dang, something ain't right. So went to breakfast, and maybe it's just me. There I go again. So I went to breakfast, and then we talked a couple of days after. So he was talking about his job. So, I feel like, okay, why are you talking about how much money you would make? And I think you being a therapist, you need to have a therapist too, because you're listening to so many people problems. So he's a therapist, right? He's a therapist. And so he was talking about how they was asking him questions at another project that he took on, extra project, and they was asking him questions. So I said, just tell them what's going on. You was on vacation, and you had an emergency. So, and that's it. I don't think they're trying to micromanage you. That's their job, to make sure the patients are getting seen. You took on this extra project. No, I make six figures, and this just an extra project I took on because he recently went through a divorce 2 years ago. So he, taking care of some stuff. So, okay. So I said, well, how did the meeting go? That was later that afternoon. He said, yeah, they thought they can, question me. They thought they can micromanage me. Da da da. He's just going off. And I said, hmm, do you have anger issues? Are you angry? And he paused, and he's like, I'm gonna call you back. And then like 2 hours later, he sent this book talking about, I feel like that's unfair that you judge me, and you really know me, and you're judging me. Those are red flags right there. I was like, and he's like, I don't know what to say about you, because you shouldn't do that. I said, you have a great life. Thank you. Because what red flags? If you over here talking about somebody micromanaging you, you going off, you gonna tell them? Do you? What question? Do you have anger issues? That's something I need to see. And you do, you have an issue. So his past trauma with what he went through in his divorce bleeding over, and I got my own blood on me. I don't need nobody else's, especially if you get asked a question. So I was like, yeah, you have a good one. I don't care how much money you make. They think that because they make six figures, what? Dude, I can go
People with
work
six
at Jack in the
figures
Box.
people with six figures, have anger issues too. You know, everybody
Mm-hmm.
can. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he triggered something. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Because I mean, the way he paused, I guess he paused to kind of like, um, kinda like capture himself and, like, maybe rebuttal, but I think it was too much for him and he couldn't, so I assume that's what took 2 hours, but, we said this before, I think therapists needs therapists because,
Yes.
it's they deal with a lot,
Mhm.
the things that they're telling you to do half the times they can't even do themselves, like, they try to tell you how to work on your kids, but guess what? They can't. They probably have some kids, you see this all the time on TV shows. They can't even control their own kids, you probably control your own kids on your own better than they do, or
Mhm.
they're telling you what to do because 'cause they're reading out of a textbook or they remember what they read when they were learning this stuff, but they don't practice what they preach, it can't be if he's gonna, basically tell you he needs to call you back and text this to you instead of, talking to you. I mean, this is 1 week into a relationship that, you know, he was promising a lot of stuff and
Man, yeah.
he couldn't even deliver past a week.
Yeah, so that was the crazy part, in a week. Like, I'm gonna marry you. I said, well, shush, you ain't seen the sour part of me yet. I can be sour when I want to be, especially if I feel like I'm being triggered or attacked and I warn you. You know what I'm saying? So you haven't seen that side. How you want how you want to get married that quick? That I mean, well, when a man know what they want,
We heard that before.
okay. Yes. But it's just oh my god. It's like this that's why I just want to pause. Like leave me alone. Like God block some things from me and just let me get me together. I just want to be peaceful, get me and my mind together. Because first of all, I don't even want to have to explain to somebody how to treat me. I want them to already know. You know what I'm saying? I want that type of person to come around and be like, she deserved to be treated this way. She deserved to be treated with respect and honor. You know what I'm saying? That
Well,
you
sometimes
would.
and I gotta step in here because
Mhm,
sometimes when a man does a lot for a woman, sometimes the woman, let's not say doesn't appreciate it.
mhm,
They probably don't know how to act because they still, dealing with their mental trauma, or they feel like, oh, he's doing this because he wants this, or he's doing
mhm,
this because he wants to do this, or something like that. Me in my hand, the way I see it, me being a Gemini, is kind of weird for me. it's
crazy.
it's kind of, weird for me to do certain things, sometimes, I second guess, I know what I should do, but then I second guess it and then I procrastinate and I don't do anything. So sometimes, I leave things alone just to see, what will happen, and then, kind of, they say we have two personalities, two people, which I think it's true. I have my work personality and then I have my home and my love personality, so it's two totally different things. And I think sometimes I know what I need to do for work. In my mind, I need to do this, this, and this. This is what projects I have coming up. This is what I gotta do. This is, what's up and coming. Well, this is the appointment or the meeting that I have. But in life, it's like with me dealing with the previous relationship, I'm like, should I do this? Should I do that? And men, as a culture, we start to do things really good and then we fall off, like buying
Mhm,
women flowers, they get used to it. And then they want it all the time, because they just got used to it. And
mhm,
I know that's a thing because I know when me and Janelle first started dating, I was buying her flowers, I was dropping them off at work so they could take it to her desk and she could show off and all that, and things like that. But you know, men tend to fall off. They're like, okay, I'm already with her. I get that. I know, you know, there's things, and I've been trying to pick back up, like, just randomly, I'll just pull out the clothes from the washer, put in the dryer, and lately I've been, folding up towels, trying to do at least a couple little things here and there, and because I know, like I said, as a male, as a species, we tend to do things, when we want something, or when we know there's something to gain, or if we're trying to gain the love of someone, and like I said, that's why I like being on this podcast, because I can tell you in a male perspective, and you can tell me, in your mind what you've seen in the past, and you can say, well, yeah, that's true, y'all do that, but there's women that do the same thing,
Mhm.
it goes both ways, but I think with men, we just tend to forget a little bit. I mean, we'll tell you we love you, and then sometimes I'll do something and I'll just say, "Ooh, I'm sorry," or I'll laugh because I'm a comedian, so I'll laugh first, and then I'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Mhm.
Sometimes I don't say I'm sorry, and I just laugh. I'm like, "You're okay," and I don't say I'm sorry. And to me, "You're okay" is like I'm saying
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yes, yes. I mean, me getting to know me better, which is refreshing, very very refreshing to spend time with myself. So my two personalities, Kim and Kimberly, getting to know both of them. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
And cuckoo.
yeah, some Kimberly is like crazy. No, but stop. Um, I'm getting to know myself, and definitely getting to learn what I like and don't like, because I can joke all day, but if I feel like this person is dear to me, I'm gonna tell them what I don't like to joke with. We can joke anything but this here, right here.
Yeah.
That's kind of a sore subject for me, and for many reasons, I haven't opened that treasure box to, you know, get over to recover from those past traumas. So yeah, that makes me feel some kind of way. But over the last, man, so 2 weeks, I'm gonna say, it's been refreshing. Like me and my ex, the one that I originally started this podcast talking about, it's a whole 180 change with us, and it's not that we want to get back together. No, that's never, that's not gonna happen, because that, I can say that that's the only man that I truly truly loved, truly 100% gave, you know, all my all to, every bit. And the cut was so deep, yeah, I'm a heal from it. I'm healing from it. I'm over it. But it was just too deep, to even go back there. But for us now to have a conversation, and hey, we know what we should have did to end this, right? We knew that it was coming to the end. God had to remove us from each other for us to grow, and it's a healing process to me. So I know that, look, this came from you. This is why I don't like men joking with me this way. I let him get away for so long because I allowed him to do the same thing. And when I see myself going back in that pattern, hold on, let me stop it. I should have stopped it at the beginning, but let me stop it right there. And then when I tell somebody and it shows me you don't respect me, because it's going back to the history with him. And the same vice versa with him, and in the, with what he and I went through, Uh, I think that he see with his significant other now that Kim wasn't too unreasonable with, just she did everything she needed to do with the house and the kids, but all I needed was that, hey babe, I got you, just give me a hug, and he wasn't like you, not a big communicator on that, let's just get it done. But I'm a communicator. Hey, we got this going on, so we're gonna get it done. How we gonna get it done? And so he see that difference, like, a woman is a woman, period. You got some of them hard women out there, but sometimes if a woman is so independent, and this is just from some women I know, that if they so independent, if you fuck up, they go and get the next dude.
Yep.
You ain't gonna
On
last
to the
long.
next.
So on to the next. So yeah, you thinking you good? That little whatever you got that you ain't fixed, they're gonna go to the next one who does have something fixed for them. So yeah, he see that now, and us having conversations now, and is a healing thing for him, and is a healing thing for me. Well, yeah, but is no relationship there. Is no want to jump in the bed with you type thing. It's just that that's something that God opened that door for. So I guess I didn't pray for that. I prayed for God to fix me, and what He said, okay, in order to fix you, let's fix this, because you moved on, but you totally hadn't recovered. You told because you don't want to talk to this guy, you don't want to be in the vicinity of this guy, and I was like, God, you know what he did? Why would I? But now it's just like, okay, I can be in the same area of you and not even have a care, and then we can now laugh and joke, which we didn't we used to do, but at the end it was always a put down. Well, I felt that way,
Yeah.
and when I told him, he didn't understand it, and now he understands it. So
But like you said, and you said this recently, you said you can eat, just not at the same table.
just not at the same table
You
with me.
moved on. That's a good thing. And then
Hmm.
so just backtracking. So trauma from your past, bringing into your new relationship, you're basically saying that you have to move on from it, make sure that you're not dwelling on it or bringing, what happened in the past into the new relationship, because you have to give, and I think I said this before, you have to give this new relationship a 100% wholehearted try, because you don't know that person. I mean, granted, you found out that that person you were just with had anger issues, but you found it early on, so that's good. But I think with other relationships, you just gotta kind of put them, what do they call it, put them through the grinder, and
Hmm.
find out if there's any issues, and see if you're both of you are willing to move forward, because everybody has
Hmm.
an issue. But is it, how many issues are you willing to deal with to find that Mr. Right or Mr. Right now?
Hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing. Mr. Right now is not an option for me anymore, because I don't, I mean, I ain't gonna say that. Let me take that back. But because I don't want to get under nobody trying to get over somebody. I just want to make sure that I'm respected and you understand. I need to learn me more so I can teach people how to treat me, because people don't see it. They don't see their faults. And I never knew how bad that is. You don't see your fault. You didn't have anything to do with something that caused somebody to act or say something. None of that. You didn't have anything to do with that. And people will sit there because they haven't checked themselves, will say that. So they causing trauma along the line. They got this trail of trauma waiting to put it off on everybody instead of fixing themselves. And I don't want to be that person, because I want to be able to sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that I'm not in, infecting anybody with my past trauma, causing them to feel some kind of way about themselves. And that's what happens in relationship. They put that infection into somebody's body or mind from what they deal with. So,
Yeah, and we said that before, because bringing the past into the new relationship, you're just going to be guarded the whole time. You're going to be, worried about, is he going to do this? Is he going to make fun of
mhm,
this? Oh,
mhm,
if I eat a little bit too much, is he going to make fun of me? Or, if I, snore while we sleep, is he gonna wake up, or is he gonna record me or something like that? Now, if you do it jokingly, that's cool, because I know I do that all the time. But
mhm,
it's, I think, in order to move on, you have to recognize your actual faults and flaws, and work on that while you're working on the new relationship, and don't bring what happened in the previous relationship into this one, and think, and pawn that off. And like you said, you're gonna make up this whole story in your mind. Your mind is just gonna wander, and just keep going, and make the story into, instead of having just, one paragraph of a story, you're going to have a whole book by the time you're done. And you're like, did he do this? Was he out with this person? And he didn't say he loved me today. Does that mean he don't love me? And then, he calls me 2 times a day, and today he only called me once. It's that, especially, the jealous ones, that story turns into, a fight. Like, I don't know if you've seen those skits, like when the person falls asleep and they picture their significant under cheating on them, or kissing someone else, and they wake up and slap them, and the person doesn't even know what the hell happened, because they weren't in the dream. They were in the dream because the person dreamt it, but they
Mhm.
that person dreamt the whole dream about them cheating on them, and that really never happened. Same as, some people that are jealous just, concoct this whole story in their head, and that's it. That's you cheated at that point, because that's what's in their head now.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, I don't know if I told you this, but I learned from this lady. This I call her my prayer warrior. We teach our kids a lot of things from what we say and what we do, and then it goes over into an adulthood. Like, you get adult men that's almost 50 years old, and these come from kids too. What is 16-year? I told you about Jennifer when she told me about the 16-year-old class. The class
Hmm.
was a group of 16-year.
No,
And did we talk about it?
yeah,
So we did. We talked about it.
you gave me that acronym.
Yeah.
Legs
So
open.
yeah. So to them, and you hearing nowadays that older men that's almost 50 sound just like these 16-year-olds. What love means to them is legs open very easily. And I'm like, when how a 16-year-old know this? They learned it from somebody. They learned it, and so that's gonna teach them in life that that's all a woman's about. That's it. They're not about to be loved and cherished and respected. It's all about a sexual thing, and that's how these men are today, because they went through their past drama. Instead of fixing themselves, that's all they look for: sex, 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 sex from this woman, sex from that woman, sex from this. I mean, and y'all gonna have issues. You looking for sex from that woman, it's never gonna be that full on intimacy, because she may not be getting what she needs from you. She there just having sex. Yeah, you think you get well, y'all guys, whatever y'all do to get y'all's, whatever. But it is a different thing for us women. We there because we want that emotional feel, or that male on us. So yeah, man, my son said it the best. He's 32. He said women have sex with who they want, men have sex with who they can.
Mm. But I mean, also, for men, they're gonna take it whenever they can get it. Just because I told you the ratio from women to men is totally different. A woman is looking for that 5% guy. Money, tall, dark, handsome. Job. A man is just looking for what they're looking for. Either it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be sex. If they find a woman that they want and they want to be with, that's who they're gonna be with. They don't care what the woman looks like. I mean, I can tell you that. If if worse comes to worse, a man will find someone that they can be with, that they're secure. They're not gonna go find that top 5% woman just because they want a real pretty woman, because that woman can easily just move on. They don't have to deal with them. They don't have to deal with all his stuff. Like you said, if it's a woman that knows she looks good, and can just find someone else, and is independent, let's just move on. It doesn't matter for them. They'll just move.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how everybody look for sex. Like, what's gonna happen when both of y'all go through your issue? You gonna look for sex because it's good. You look. It's gonna be good then because y'all just getting into it or whatever. What's gonna happen when one of y'all start having issues?
Yeah.
You gonna go look for somebody, and I think that was always my problem. Now with the other one, it was the sex, and it was just we first 2 years it was rocky, then it got good, but we had, before he started making a lot of money, we had a connection. But that's what I want, a connection. I want a man that's mature with himself and knows, yeah, I got some issues, but I am working on my issue. But if all you looking for is sex, shit, you can go get that anywhere. Them little young girls gonna give it to you like you want it, but it's never gonna be nothing there. Men and women don't understand. Oh man, the sex was good. Okay, what happened after the sex?
Yeah.
What are you stuck with? Just sex?
Y'all each went your own separate way.
Or is that the person you're gonna be in a relationship? Is that person gonna have you when you get sick? So that's the kind of relationship I want. If I'm in the hospital bed, I want that person to still look at me with the love that he, or the care that he had when he was looking at me in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's different. In this day and time, everybody just looking for whatever. There's nobody maturing. I'm gonna hit this. I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna go that. I guess that's the way it is. But
All right.
I don't know.
So wrapping it up. So how do you feel? Um, I know you kind of mentioned, how to get over the trauma. How do you feel about dealing with a significant other that comes in with trauma, and how would you handle that?
How would I handle that? Is let's have a talk. I mean, men don't really conversate what goes on with them, but I would usher them, to let me pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you, not pray on you. So no matter what, if you my enemy, I won't even say a word about you because I'm not gonna pray on you or say anything else. But if coming into a relationship, I'm gonna pray for you and pray that, hey, these are, maybe you need a little therapy. Let's go to church. Let's have Bible study. We do that amongst our group and on our team. Let's have a little study, Bible study. Let's read the scripture. But just, everybody's not perfect. Everybody going through stuff, and I would want them to be the same way with me. Yeah, I don't know the Lord or the Bible that well, but let's open up and let's pray on this, because if you really want to be with me, we're gonna get through this. That's it. Because you got marriages that's been going on for years, and they just sitting there rocking that boat, rocking and tipping and top, instead of going to get help. Because everybody grow and change over years. Nobody stay the same. If that's the case, that love will be, oh, she's sexy, he's sexy. No, they change over the years. So that's how you have to get that therapy help, either from church or a good therapist that know themselves.
All right. Well, that concludes our podcast for today. Thank you for checking us out. Next week, hopefully, our special guest will be able to join us. Y'all have a good one.